welcome to Japanesey. I'm introducing a very fun and engaging new segment to my channel, which is learning Japanese from anime. So my first pick is one of my favorite animes of all time, the Deathnote. This is the $1,000,000 question for all Deathnote fans out there, Team L or Team Light. I am Team Light. And what about you guys? Do let me know in the comments, and do watch the video till the end, and let me know if you have some suggestions, or do you want more lessons, or what sort of lessons you want from anime. So let's have lots of fun learning Japanese. Let's get started. This is the opening scene of the episode. You can see one of the most prominent characters in Death Note sitting there, Shinigami Ryuk. So Shinigami. These first two kanjis are Shinigami. This first one alone means Shin, to die. And this kanji means Kami. Kami, God. So God of death. Just going to take the first half of the first kanji, the line, and the first half, the first radical. It means to disintegrate. And this looks like a person. So putting together a person disintegrating signifies death. And this radical again, the first half of the second kanji, means clothes. This kanji means honorific way of saying to say, the verb to say something. So if you see in Asian countries, there's a custom. First thing you do in the new year is you dress up nicely, wear new clothes, go and say your prayers to the Lord. You offer your prayers to the Lord. So clothes and saying something. So to the Lord. That's why Shinigami. And this is the kanji that comes in Sekai, means world. And this kanji on its own, Kai, means the world. So all three put together means underworld. So this is the first where Shinigami Ryuk is introduced, and then you can see his friends fooling around. So what I really like in Death Note, at least as far as episode 1 is concerned, is the striking balance of casual speech and the honorific speech, which is a good practice. So if you see these two fellows, his Ryuko's friends, they use casual style of speech. So when you guys listen to it, please see if you can notice the difference. To that, the next introduction is our hero, of course, Light Yagami, and he's just bored with his daily life. He's completely zoned out in the classroom. So he gets called by his teacher, and this is what he says. And from here, I've picked this word for you to know, wayaku. Wayaku means to translate into Japanese. Honyaku is to translate. And this kanji here, the very first one, means Japanese. Any Japanese style, when you want to say, you will always see this kanji being used. So wayaku means to translate into Japanese. Onegashimasu. So if you see the way it's ending, it's a proper honorific style of speaking. 今の文章をお早くお願いします。And the next scene, Light is going back home, and behind you can hear some news being played. News honorific speech is a good way to listen to news if you want to practice business communication in Japanese. Two words, same kanji, but they have two different readings. Satsujin, murder. Koroshi, to kill. So here, dokyo means to live together. So continuation of the same news reports. Boko, to assault. Satsugai, again another way to say to kill. Again, this episode I've found a lot of words which are really dark. So boko and satsugai. Utagai, suspicion. Taiho, to arrest. Taiho is the noun arrest, and taiho suru, when you conjugate it with suru, it becomes the verb to arrest. So these are a couple of news reports that we can hear in the background. And conclusion is, Light is really bored with his life. Kurikaeshi, repetition is so monotonous, it's repeating and it's boring. And here comes the title of episode 1. This kanji means new, atarashi or shin. And this is very popular. You must have come across this a lot. This is a say in sensei. um, again means life, so new life, so rebirth. The next are all the most iconic scenes, let's say not just in episode 1 but throughout Death Note, the rules of Death Note and how Light puts it to test and figures out that it's actually real and gets to experience the power of Death Note. So let's see what these rules are. このノートに名前を書かれた人間は死ぬ A person's name written in this notebook will die. Again, if you see the intonation, he just says shinu. He doesn't say shinu ka, shinu desu ka. If you see, animes are always fun and still so informative to learn all these styles of speaking. So the next one. Kakanakereba shinyo wa subette shinzo mahi ni naru. So if you fail, kaku is to write the kanji. Kakanakereba, if you fail to write. Shin, she, this we saw in Shinigami, the same shin, and this means cause, so shin means cause of death. Subete, shinzo mahi, heart attack. So if you don't mention the reason, then it's going to be a heart attack. 各人物の顔が頭に入ってないと効果はない。And it's only effective if you have the person's face on your mind. Else, it's not going to be effective. 故に、同姓同名の人物に一遍に効果入れられない。So this and this kanji means it's the same and it also means same. Onaji kanji. And this is a kanji that means surname, and this is what means mei, which is your given name. So same name, people share the same name. Ippen means all at once. Koka means effect. Hayararenai. So this is in the passive voice of the verb to not be affected. So after this, Light decides to test it out, and we see some news being played in the background and on his TV, and he picks the culprit. Suspect Otoharada Kuro. Otoharada Kuro is the suspect, and so he decides to test if the effectiveness of Death Note by writing down his name. And the culprit is taken hostage. Hitojishi, and the nursery school staff inside. That's what the news actually says. So now he writes it down. He waits for 40 seconds to see if it takes effect, and it does, and he's dead. And again, same kanjis, both means to die. Shashatsu means you're shot to death. Ji, this is a kanji means oneself, so ji satsu means to commit suicide. Just find the culprit dead now, and they're just speculating if it is suicide. So now going back to what's happening in the underworld, Ryuk feels it's time for him to go, and Gekai here refers to earth, but literal translation of that will be this kanji means under or lower. And again, we have seen this in our opening scene, which means kai. So lower realm would be a literal translation for that. And kattaku means to deceive. Again, Ryuka's friends are just fooling with him. Fooling this, what actually happens, is my favorite part of this episode, and the two iconic dialogues which I really like. I'm not giving you the Japanese or the English translations for this. This is fun activity for you guys to go back, listen to the episode, and see if you can spot it. And of course, it's going to be easy. You guys have clues. I'm running you through all of this. I'm running you through this scene by scene, so it should be easy to spot. Next is a small light-hearted scene between Light and his mother. And from here on to the rest of the episode can be a little easy, even if you are beginners, because the entire stretch is going to be in casual speech. And so the conversation between Light and his mom ends with her asking, do you want anything? Because he scores first again in Zenkoku Moshi. Again, this is a very common word in all Japanese animes and mangas. Zen means all, totally, and koku means country. So that means national, all throughout the country. And Moshi is mock exam. He says no, but then he goes and closes the door behind him. This is my second most favorite dialogue, which he says, Hoshimona wa tei ni haitta. I've already got what I want, and he's so happy that he has the death note for himself. And before this, he picks the second person, Shibui Maru Takuo. Again, a small snippet. You can see where he tries to bully and assault a lady, and he gets ran over by a truck, of course, because of the Death Note's power. So that again, completely in casual. We saw Ryu has taken off to find the Death Note. And here comes the face-off. They face each other. So Ryuk introduces himself, saying he's the Otoshinoshi, the Death Note, meaning owner of lost and found property. And my most favorite dialogue. It's so simple but yet so powerful. So when Ryuk would have asked him, don't be surprised, why are you so surprised? Or something like that is when he opens his statement and then he says, no, I'm the owner of the notebook. And Light's reply to that is, Odoroite nai yo. I'm not surprised. Iya, matte tayo, he says. He says, no, I've been waiting for you. And oh my god, so cool. So he actually says, no, I've just figured out the Death Note is real, so I know that Shinigami should be real. And one more word to learn here is Kyofu, means fear. And Light says, no, he's ready, whatever that's coming for him, because he's used the Death Note. And Ryuk explains it's distress, kuno, or anguish that people feel for using this Death Note, and they don't get to go to either hell or heaven with this Tenkoku heaven and Jikoku. Tenkoku heaven and Jikoku means hell. Again, there's an exchange, and when Light asks him, why did you even drop the Death Note? And he just says he was bored. And this haikutsu is bored is again, you can see this used quite often in this episode. This is when we can see how Light has completely transformed as a flag bearer of justice. Initially he had his apprehensions whether he can judge people, sabaku, to judge, kendari, privilege. But then he decides that he will be the Lord. He's going to be the God of the new reformed world, where he passes judgments and decides who stays and who goes away. So koakuhan means a thug, tsumi means sin. So those who have sinned and those who are thugs, he is going to get rid of them all. That is the end of episode 1. Please stay tuned. I will be back with the next episode of Death Note, and you guys can watch it again, see if you can pick all this. At the same time, please let me know if you have any suggestions or feedbacks. That would be great. And in case you have any doubts apart from whatever I've picked, I just picked and chose a few of my favorite scenes. I'm sure there are plenty more, though I'm not able to cover all of them. If you have anything that wants clarification or want to know anything more, please do leave it in the comment. I will be sure to reply. And if you liked the video, please like, share, subscribe, and show some love. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned.